Hey hotties, we're always telling you what to do. Now it's your turn to tell us what to do.
Head to hotyoungdesignersclub.com to take our 7-minute 2021 listener survey.
And as a bonus, we'll be giving away an HYDC t-shirt to 3 random entries.
The survey closes March 31st, so give us all your feedback and help us design the best community ever. I really have an eye for design.
But I just need a few pieces.
Oh, I just marked up some edits on your contract.
Do any of these client statements sound familiar?
They've fooled us at least once, but now we call them red flags.
Let's go! Hi, I'm Rebecca of Studio Plum.
And I'm Shaun of Renstead Interiors. We're interior designers
Turned internet friends.
turned real life friends.
Welcome to the Hot Young Designers Club podcast.
We're not that hot.
Or that young.
Every week, we'll be spilling the tea on how a new generation of interior designers can run their businesses.
Welcome to the club. Hi, Shaun.
What's up, Rebecca?
Still elevating my broken foot, but
Yeah, you better
Things are going
keep that up.
working on it. How's it going?
I mean, spring is almost in the air if you live in Greater Los Angeles.
I think it was fall spring. Yeah, we had it too, but now the rain's coming back. I don't know. I think it was like a fake out.
It was like the Groundhog's Day thing where it's like, oh, no, just kidding. I'm kidding. I'll be back. I'll see you guys in a few weeks.
Yeah, it's only February still.
For now.
Or not. Okay, well, how's your week?
I'll just jump into the fizzle of it all. Over the weekend, I had one of those emails from a client where it was like, hey, we need to talk about, and then I could just, you know how the little preview pops up and you're like, nope, I'm not going to take the hook. Like, this will change my mood and atmosphere for the weekend. Just wait until Monday and then look at it. And I jokingly told you that it was a nastygram. It actually was not that bad. It's just, I shared with you that this client now has a son who wants to get married at this home we're working on next April. So now they're just anxious because we're still in the planning stage of their project where there's no hammers swinging yet. So they are feeling like nothing's happening. And I get where that comes from in the design process, is that you can feel like you're not making progress because they're not seeing the progress I'm making.
Well, right. And their house is not being transformed.
Right. So that's the hardest part. It was like to get on the phone with them and make them feel better. And they're not asking for anything unreasonable. They're just like wanting to be kept more apprised and feel like there's progress and what are we accomplishing. And they're just, it's not, I know the theme of this week's episode, but it's not a red flag. It was just like, hey, pay attention. Like, they're going to need to be kept on track because they're going to be worried about this thing that's off in the future. And after talking with them, they get it. Like, I'm like, you know that just because you plopped this in April of next year means nothing. Like, it doesn't change anything for us. Like, we have to take it out of the equation. And when it comes to the furnishing phase, that's when we're going to have to reel it in, because rooms we hadn't even considered before, they want to add. And I'm like, nope, right now we're just on construction. Like, when that's all moving, we can talk about whether I have capacity to take on even more rooms and just furnish only. But is it a good problem? Maybe.
Yeah.
If their timeline of having it all done by April by April of next year already sounds crazy to do this whole giant house.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on how many custom orders and stuff, but I don't know. I feel like it would be if you can get the furniture.
Yeah, if they'll like commit to that, then it's big. Because it's like a $2 million house. It's nice. But it's 4,300 square feet. It's a giant house.
Well, you need to prioritize for sure.
Right. So I'm like, that's where I said to them, I'm like, look, we hadn't even talked about some of these other rooms. and we're not going to right now because we need to get through the permit stuff and get contractors working. And then when that dust starts to move a little bit, we can talk. But it was fizzle worthy because nobody wants that email
Yeah,
to
well,
come
it's
in
that
like,
feeling
we need to
of that
talk
email,
email.
like, yeah, like, oh, fuck, what did I do now?
Yeah,
I get
but
that.
it's okay.
Yeah. I mean, I tend to overreact emotionally to those too, because, yeah, you feel like you're,
Like, I had to ask, like, did I let them down? Did I miss something? And I'm like,
mm-hmm.
no, but they just want to know more now. So even a weekly update, like they
And
want,
a little bit like he wanted to grab the steering wheel.
right. And I'm just like, what can you
No,
do
I'm
from where you,
driving.
yeah, like, no, back off.
Stay
Fuck
in the
off,
back.
Shiv.
This is an Uber. Stay in the back.
Yeah, please, sir. I will roll up the divider between us. Please do not try to climb into the front seat.
Or we're gonna
Um,
stop your trip early.
yeah. And
Maybe we'll
I
get into
said,
these
I'm like,
traveling things.
yeah, we always have to have like get on the train, get off the struggle bus, get whatever it is. But yeah, it
Land
was
that
very
plane.
much,
There's a baby
it was
cry.
it was that call. It was like, so here are things that we're already handling in scope of work, and here are things that I'm not. And if you don't like the way that I'm proposing we split it up, you have enough time now that you could stop and find someone else and maybe get it done. Or we could just stay the course and stay focused on the real goal. And, you added a new thing on the schedule, which is like cool for you, but it absolutely changes nothing for me. Like,
Well, yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And then when we're ready to start thinking about expand, because that'll be a whole new contract for all that extra stuff. It'll be when can I start and am I available to get it done in that timeline? Because it's going to need a lot of work.
But it'll also be probably pretty profitable. So I'm going to encourage you to do it, maybe
Just
with some
depends on
help.
and that's kind of what it depends on is if it can be done and I can have a design assistant help with it and we can like get it going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's April next year. It's more than a year away. So the thought would be that in the summertime, we
Yeah, you
could
need
then
like
start.
a good 6 months to make sure you can get
Yeah.
everything in.
That
So
was kind of my thought
from
process was
orders,
like
from the order date.
from June, like if we're looking at June, that gets us through at least the end of the year, plus some extra into the early year. And while the big pieces are swirling around us, if all the final elements aren't done, at least they'll have a place for everyone to sleep in the
That's it.
house
Yeah.
with, comfortable rugs and, dressers and what, who know, that kind of stuff. So anyway, that was the fizzle. Sizzle side, I I have so many drawing sets that I'm working on right now for different client projects. It's about like 6 projects with all remodel and stuff like that. And finally, one of them is like fully in the hands of the outsourced drafts person who's making the full set for city approval. And he's going to handle the structural work for me now. So like I have a really amazing sense of relief of like, okay, I'm now I just have to work on finish details. I have to work on, other components of it, but that heavy lifting someone else is doing for me. And it's not out of my hands, but it's like I can't do anything about that
No,
now.
but it can
So
move into the construction phase.
yes. So that's like the first out of the 6 projects that has done that. It's different than the one I was just talking about. And it feels
Mhm.
so good to be like, fucking finally, we are out of concept stage. We have preliminary floor plan layouts, and then now everyone else who is their expert can just go. And it's not
Yeah,
sitting on me where I'm the funnel, like I don't need to be the bottleneck for that anymore.
that must feel nice.
What about you?
Similar. We're in Sim land. I have too many projects all in the same phase. So I'm just like trying to hit these. I'm kind of in concept presentation mode on a few.
Everything.
Yeah, like 4 or 5. And it's my favorite
Repetitive.
and least favorite because it's like a little bit of battling the blank page. And I just feel like
Yeah.
I'm just at this like nonstop deadline. It doesn't matter what the day is, I'm going to be crunched right up into the minute. So,
And like you finish one presentation, they're like, I love it. It's great. And then you're like, I can't even enjoy that feeling because I have the other one where the presentation's not done and it's tomorrow or it's later that day.
like literally, exactly. Yeah. So I've gotten a few of
Deep
them
breaths.
past preliminary concept, and everyone's really happy and excited, which it's great when they approve, but then you've just wet their palate for more.
And then you're like, now it's going to be quiet for a few weeks because this is a lot of freaking work.
I know, but I think it's coming off the holidays too. That was a really bad idea. I was quiet over the holidays and then tried to gear back up. So it feels like from a client perspective, it was a big lag. So I get it.
Yeah.
But that's how it was. So I'm just hustling and I'm just not having a ton of stamina because my foot just really starts to hurt at the end of the day. So it's better, but
it's not
it's
great.
hard to, unless I'm laying down, it sucks. So I did see a designer was kind of making a joke, but she bought a lay down laptop stand.
No.
Yeah. I'll find it. She's hilarious.
I mean, I just feel like I would take a nap instead of working.
But sometimes I just want to lay, like, I love laying down in my bed at the end of the day. It's my favorite thing. It's where I retreat versus the couch or the living room or anything. So
wait, some of the pictures of these, it's like
really weird.
Like you're laying flat on a bed and it holds your laptop over your freaking face. I feel like that's going to turn into the iPhone hitting your forehead scenario. I'm not in love with this idea.
And I don't totally know what
the ergonomics look really terrible. The way it bends your wrists and the way that's not, I think people just need to get.
Well, Frida Kahlo did it.
I mean, but she had yours is a temporary medical condition. So I don't know that I would be buying your whole robotic bed situation.
I'm totally not going to.
Terry, that's definitely a not sexy bedroom situation. Like, honey, leave me alone. I'm working. Like,
it's basically,
and you have a whole robot.
It's like headgear with a laptop on it.
Yeah, some of these people are laid out like a dentist's chair.
Yeah. Oh, I can have like a monitor installed on the ceiling of my bedroom.
Oh, please don't do this.
I'm not going to, but
I would just say, hopefully you can find a way to get more rest and some relaxation. So if you guys want to see what we're seeing, you should Google lay down laptop stand. The lay down laptop stand idea is not.
It's not cute.
It's a no from me.
That wasn't actually my sizzle. My sizzle is I'm working on a top secret project called My Daughter's Bathroom that I'm not doing for One Room Challenge. I'm just trying to bust it out. Like a really teensy refresh, but with maximum wow. Because Shaun wouldn't let me.
I wouldn't let you?
I'm just kidding. I mean, really, the whole bathroom needs to the whole bathroom needs to be gutted, and that's not happening right now. But it's gross because it's original, like 1960 tub and tile, and
Cecily's freaked out to go in there. She doesn't want to use it. It's weird.
Really, but she's not encouraged. So we have this big house with 3 people using one bathroom. It's stupid. So we might as well live in a 2-1. Like
at that rate, yeah. So she needs to start, and she's big enough now that it's like annoying that you're.
Yeah, she can
do stuff on her own.
Hair stuff. Yeah, I'm like, get it out of here. So anyway, we found a tub refinisher, and I just had them do that. So they just sprayed everything white. It's so fresh and clean. We still have to get all the plumbing redone or the fixtures and trim reset, but it's very satisfying already. So that's happening.
It's going to be good. You're right not to go too crazy overboard because A, the expense, but also B, you're talking about how you have too many projects and that's basically a whole other project.
Yeah. And my dad can't do anything heavy and my husband refuses. So I really have to do it all on my own or with a handyman for a few things.
Right.
I know.
It's
I
gonna be
definitely
good.
have that like personality of like, oh, I'm so stressed. I should just take on one more thing.
I should just do more.
But
Meanwhile,
it's
I'm
like,
over here figuring out maybe I don't want to do that. Then I talk
well, it's
myself
like the
out of
things
stuff.
I want to do. And I think you said like the
Hmm.
things that I can get the benefit from versus all this client stuff. It's just headache.
Yeah.
And there may or may not be like the
Like the what's in
photograph
it for
reward.
right. What's in it for you was just, oh, I got paid for the job. Well, that's not always enough. Okay.
Let's
Let's
get
get
into the
into the
main
episode.
course. Yeah.
We're here to talk to you guys about red flags.
How to spot them. And I was thinking like, this is going to be a highly personal list for each of us based on how your business is set up, how you want your business to evolve. It's kind of like when I was dating right before I met my husband, I made a list of it was called the list and it was like things that I just would not accept any longer or
Okay.
I didn't call it red flags, but it basically is what it was.
Yeah.
Will not be addicted to sports, drugs, or porn or gaming. But that's just a red flag. I can't talk myself out of any of that. I don't like it. So,
Yeah.
and experienced some of those. So, once you've been
Yeah. You
through it,
got,
then you can kind of be like, you know what? This is just never going to end well.
yeah. For me, it's, yes, we've lived these, but take these as cautionary tales. And then maybe it sinks in where you're like, ooh, somebody warned me about that. I need to pay more attention. Is this a red flag for me or is this a yellow flag? And I think we pretty much are calling these all red flags just for the sake of ease. But some of these might not be hard stops for you. Some of these might just be, I need to pay attention. I have to watch what's happening right now.
A couple of them might be like black and white checkered flags, like you love it, go.
RuPaul's Drag Race, start your engines.
I really teed you up for that one.
I mean, you guys, we didn't plan that. But okay, first one for me, don't be fooled by the size of the budget, how nice the client seems, or how cool you think the project could be. Letting that cloud your judgment.
Say more.
I find that the client who is like, oh, I'm going to be spending $500,000 and our style is exactly what you want to do. And we're so easy to work with. They are not. That is not what's going to happen. They're not going to be that free
are
with
you
the
saying
money.
like
They're not.
if it seems too good to be true, it is?
It probably is.
Are you saying like don't just stop there, like do more due diligence?
Oh, yeah, for sure. That doesn't mean like, oh, I'm not taking the job. You need to pay attention because that's a lot of too many good things all at once. And those are few and far between in our world. And usually they come when you've been very established and you've got a repertoire and a portfolio that really matches exactly that type of work over and over again. Are you the person in your town where every new construction California eclectic mansion is going to be built? Then maybe you are that go-to person, but just don't be fooled by that. I often find that the people who want to distract you with budget numbers or we're so cool and easy to work with or the project is perfect, they're trying to sell themselves on getting you involved so then they can change everything afterwards, like bait and switch. So just be sure it's real.
Yeah, I definitely think there's more that everyone needs to vet. This one, I think these two are kind of the same. If the client says, oh, I really want to work with you, I'm really into design and I follow all these design bloggers, I have an eye for it, I love shopping and looking for cool new stuff. That's a big one for me now.
It's the, oh no, no, no.
Like it's zooming into the, Yeah, as great as that person might be to have as my friend and like Instagram DM buddy that wants to share inspiration and cool stuff that makes them think of me. I get that. That I love that.
I mean, I want them to have taste, but I don't want them to want to design the
They
project.
can't
Like they
have
want
taste
me
and
to
time.
yeah, you gotta pick. And then I have to go back to, okay, so if you have an eye for design, why are you hiring a designer then? If you feel so confident in what you like and what you don't, why are you reaching out to me?
I have a client right now that she has an eye for design. She's into it, but she doesn't really have time. And she doesn't know how to solve some of the issues in her own house. And she
Hmm.
just doesn't want to deal with it. So that works.
They like beautiful things and they might have a level of taste. They just need you to help them get that in their home. And
She keeps
they don't,
buying cute pillows, but she's like, I'm throwing the pillows on this ugly
and you're like,
furniture.
girl,
It's
it's the
just not
sofa that's
happening.
wrong, not the
Yeah.
pillows.
And she knows that. So that's great. It's just, but then I've
Girl,
had
it's
other clients. I love design. I love linking stuff. I want to send you stuff and you can be my design buddy.
no.
No, that's a great consultation or maybe even designer on call. But
Yeah, sometimes people want a personal shopper to yay and nay with them and do all of that. So I feel like that comes at a price premium because you don't get anything out of that really.
well, you have to get paid. Yeah. You don't
Yeah,
get
it's just the
photos. You don't
paycheck.
get, and I have room for that in my heart, not in my schedule at the moment, but I enjoy that. I like to help people. So
Like you want them to be excited.
it's honestly something I have to really like watch myself on to not agree to that.
Yeah. I think that's where it really is going back to the boundaries of what you're asking for. If that's the red flag, doesn't really fit. I've had a couple clients who just don't understand why I'm saying, I don't think I'm the right fit when you're giving me that red flag. What you're looking for is something I don't do, or it won't fit in my schedule right now, or you're looking for something more from me than I'm able to do for you. And that's okay to say, but yeah, I think the I'm really into design, I have an eye for design is you would hope that the best case scenario is someone who just has an appreciation for it and likes nice things is what you hope that they're trying to say, but they might not be. They
No,
might
like
be
for
saying, I want to
instance,
do this.
there's a local Facebook group that evolved out of a local moms group, and it's moms decorating or something. And they're all really into design and they are
Yeah.
redoing stuff in their house and redoing rooms and throwing each other ideas and resources and vendors. That's perfect for them. Some of the stuff I like really want to jump in and comment, but I can't wave my own red flag. Like I'm
Right,
not
right,
gonna
right.
do it. So I don't know. And I don't want to belittle. They're having fun.
Right.
Um,
But also, if you start jumping in, then it's, oh, she's here to give us free advice. And that's another red flag. If you
totally. So
start throwing out the advice for free, then people don't appreciate it for
I
its
don't. And
value.
sometimes they're wrong or out of touch. I think I was telling you one woman is just really trying to find a
Inset.
off the shelf inset cabinets for her entire kitchen for 12 grand.
No, ma'am.
It's just not going to happen. They're not going to be my client. So they're just going to have to do their own research. I've had lead calls where they kind of want that stuff. Oh, you know what? There's this great Facebook group. Just go in there.
They'll
These
help
women
you.
are on all the blogs. They're doing all the things.
Yeah. And they know
Yep.
local people and they'll talk to you.
Yeah. They have DIY ideas. They'll weigh in. You can girlfriend it out on there.
Find a buddy. Okay, I want to touch back on that because that is one of the red flags that I have is the inspiration of that beautiful Devil kitchen with inset cabinetry, showing you stuff like that and then telling you, I have a $12,000 budget for my whole 200 square foot kitchen remodel. Everything needs to be done. And I want these cabinets and I want these Viking appliances. And it's just like, girl, the design on a budget actually takes longer and it's harder to get to that. I'm never going to be
Well,
able to give you
always. Like you
inset
have
cabinets.
to, if you're not getting them made properly, then you're going to have to put some sweat equity into it or
Yeah.
something.
Or you're going to have to be okay that they're not forever cabinets. For me, the red flag is, do they really understand where the inspiration is going to change when it has an unreasonable budget? They're probably going to be full overlay style cabinets, paint grade, not stain grade wood, and you're going to have stainless steel appliances but they're not going to be Viking or Sub-Zero or Wolf. You're going to be at
Good
Home
luck,
Depot
Cornel.
buying. Yeah, you're not getting the LaCanche
Like this
range.
inspiration picture you sent me is a $250,000 kitchen. Like, do you realize? And then don't get mad at me for
showing you a design that fits your actual budget.
Or telling you that's outrageous. I don't know. I've gotten in the position with things that are like more furniture, but keep looking. That's too much, but I don't like it. Or this is too much. This is too expensive. And then I don't like
and then
this price one or low price one.
And that's kind of where, is it a red flag? Maybe if you are not ready to deal with that.
The things that we're talking about though are inside the project already. So
yeah,
how
you have to
make
address
it a red flag? Well, how do you find the flag? It's like,
I mean, I ask clients to have their inspiration photos ready as part of that initial consultation, because I really want to get an idea for where are we headed. Mm-hmm. And then I will ask them things. Okay, you're showing me inset cabinets, but you're telling me a budget that will not allow for inset cabinets. Is it you just like the look of these painted cabinets and you'd be okay changing down, to something that's in your budget? Or are you telling me I really need to have these items and I'm willing to give you more? And I think we have to like push
the color.
Right. Oh, I didn't like that. I just like that it has brass and blue. Okay, I can do brass and blue for you somewhere. If that's what you're totally in love with, I'll show you some options. We can get to it. But I have, in the same sense, even if you try to level set the budget, if they're still not reasonable, that's another red flag. Like, these are real numbers. There's options for how we can make it cheaper, but you're not going to be happy. Here's what you lose.
Yeah, especially in construction, the world you're in more, you're not giving them numbers because you want to extort that money from them. Your fee isn't changing.
Yeah, I'm not making more money by telling you, hey, we found a plumbing problem under your house and you have some options for how to fix it. Let's talk with the contractor.
I mean, you're really not making that much more money if it's a $50,000 kitchen or a $100,000 kitchen. Your fee is going to be about the same.
Because I don't sell the cabinets. I don't sell the countertop.
Right. Which is a good thing for the client to recognize. I'm not trying to upsell you here. I'm just trying to not get into a situation later.
Right. But that's all the construction stuff. Like, is the inspirational is the inspiration reasonable with the budget? Is the budget reasonable even when you've level set everything? And then is the timeline reasonable? Truly, that's probably what we fight against a lot right now because of COVID times is timelines are a red flag. If someone's telling you, absolutely, this must be done in 3 months, and you know it's going to take you 6, don't try to tell them you can do it in 3 just to get the work. Red flag.
Or like, yeah, I can do it in 3, but you're going to have about 5% of items to look at, available things.
Yeah. I think
we're going to have very few options because I'm only ordering things that are available, and that's few and far.
If you're going to sacrifice something, that, and to me, timeline lately has been the red flag where they have hard dates.
Yeah.
And a few clients I've said, I have one client where it's a kitchen and they're actually getting married through this. And I was like, I don't think we're going to start until after that.
I don't think your marriage is going to survive, and it hasn't even begun yet. It's actually a good idea, side note, to go
remodel
through a
with someone
together before you get married. Yeah.
Well, you know what? It's the plot of The Money Pit, where they practically are divorced by the time they realize we still love each other and our house is beautiful. Use the timeline as your barometer of, well, that's unreasonable. And don't just say, sure, I'll do my best. No, put it in your contract and in your proposals, the real times, not the I will do my best time. I feel
like I've actually been considering putting one of those COVID-19 warning strips on the top of my website. Like everything the website has right now. Like, warning, if you think anything's going to happen in a normal time frame, just stop now.
Yeah. Basically, you need don't hire us if you're in a hurry.
Yeah.
And maybe that's how you avoid the red flag is Are you in a hurry is in your intake form. And if they're like, oh, yeah, we have guests coming in 60 days, great. Call me in 120 days.
Because first
And
of
then
all,
we'll get
it's not
started.
safe to invite people over yet. And second of all, it's not going to happen.
It's not happening.
Yeah. I'd be happy to do a consult next week.
Yeah, I'll talk with you later.
I mean, I've been in sourcing mode and I'm like, oh, this chair is available in June. This chair is available in June. Great. And I'm like, it's February.
You're so excited.
Yeah, that seems
good now.
Hey, hotties.
Have you ever listened to the show and wished you could ask us questions?
Well, we just opened up private coaching sessions.
Now you can book 1 or 2 hour Zoom sessions with Rebecca and me.
Together, we bring over 40 years of experience in our combined professional backgrounds to help you with marketing, finance, and business strategy.
We're here to guide you on anything from branding to systems to the emotional guidance that you need to run your business.
Book today at hotyoungdesignersclub.com/coaching or use the book now button on our Instagram.
We can't wait to meet you. Those are like the budget, the inspiration, the timeline red flags. Can I just talk about a specific type of client?
Mm-hmm.
The attorneys.
Okay.
Particularly litigators. It's not a no. It's just a be really cautious. Are you ready to handle someone who might be questioning everything and trying to enforce in the business side of, I think you know what I'm saying. Do you know what I'm saying?
I do. I kind of want to take it a step further and like what would be kind of funny is to do a personality quiz with your questionnaire. Almost a 4 tendencies one, which is a little bit higher level. I mean, no offense, but like questioners are...
I'm a questioner.
You are.
And I don't like being questioned.
You don't. I'm married to 2 questioners. And it just depends on what the topic is. So I would really need to know what they're interested. If you hired an interior designer,
I'd be a nightmare.
Be a tough client. Like,
oh yeah, I'm nightmare client.
Not a nightmare, but you would be, get your little microscope would be out on everything because you care about all that stuff. Terry would be okay because he was just like, is the chair comfortable? Is the TV big? But I don't know. But I have like a question. I have a questioner client right now. He's actually the husband and I've never met him. And I 100% know he's a questioner.
Yeah. I think it's just,
but he's a doctor.
I think the major fear that I have is looking at attorneys, honestly, do some background searching, see if they have civil litigation where they've done it towards vendors. You can Google it. It's all public record. Like if they've sued vendors or tradespeople or whatever, like that to me is just, whoa, you have to do a lot to end up in a lawsuit. It has to be it has to be something either hard-headed where one person didn't want to give up till it hit a lawsuit, or it was big enough that it had to end up there. It couldn't be settled outside of that. So I would just pay attention. Having said that, one of my clients, the husband, is an attorney, but he's bringing me because they don't have time. He really does not have time or energy to focus on this. He had 2 questions about something in my contract, but he didn't want to change the contract. He was just like, what does this mean? And what does this mean? And part of that is because he knows that the main goal of the contract is to keep us on a deliverables page where we're both protected. And that truthfully, in any contract, there's always room. If you needed to push on something, there's a back and forth that things can be figured out in an amicable way, but they don't see it as this thing that they're going to tear apart and revise your contract.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard stories of people that like their clients want to do strikeouts and
it's just no.
That's just a lack of respect. That's I think.
And it's pushing just to push. Okay, we get it. You're a great attorney and you might not love it, but I think it comes down to what's the intent of these things in our contract? What's the purpose of them? And if they don't agree in general with the purpose and the intent, they're approaching it from the when I have to sue you, not if something goes wrong standpoint. It's the, well, when I have to sue you, I want this in there and I want that. And, oh, girl, I don't want to deal with that. Like,
Right.
find the right mix of the person who respects what you do and look, just maybe do some Google searches, find out what's in public record if they've been in anything before on it on a civil independent level, not as they're representing a client.
Yeah.
Just
And
look them up.
I think the same thing comes into play with somebody who wants to change your process.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you don't get to take the steering wheel. You don't get to decide how this is going to go. If you want to ask for some kind of, I don't know, addendum or can we do this? And then that's just a different approach. And then you get a yes or a no versus like, I need you to do it this way.
Yeah. I had a client who, well, it was a potential client. We ended up not moving ahead, but they wanted to move to a flat fee structure. And I told them, okay, if that's the direction it's going, it was coming in more than double the hourly structure because I already know what's going to happen. It was for a limited scope, a limited range. And I'm like, it's never going to be as easy as they think, but they want to control costs. So I'm just going to throw out a really wacky number to really justify. And they were like, oh no. And that's why we have the boundary, because the red flag was, I want to do it a different way than the way you're telling me you do it. Okay.
Based on all of your experience and
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you're a designer. Okay. Like, you want to tell me that it will only take 100 hours for a whole house remodel? That's not realistic. So I'll just pretend it's not 100 hours and I'm going to quote you 400 as the flat rate. And then you ran away because you know better. Like, and I feel bad for whoever fell for that, whatever designer they got to do it for really cheap. Or maybe they didn't. Maybe they still haven't started. I don't know.
Right. So, yeah, don't let anyone change your process or your contract. Unless they're really reasonable and it makes sense for some reason that you're okay with.
Yeah, it's got to be a what's in it for you to do it. If you're going to change your process and you're going to set the groundwork that someone's not going to respect what you have, you're the prize. So
right.
If they don't like that, then hasta la vista.
I have in my questionnaire what their level of making decisions is, like how well they make decisions.
Yeah.
And I've found that's really been interesting. I always get comments too from the people, oh, I never really thought about that, but that's really something that like, and how they make decisions as a couple. I think it's like each individual and then together.
Yeah.
And then tell me who your number one decision maker is going to be.
Like who it's going to default to.
Yeah. I only really want to deal with one person unless it's presentations.
Yeah.
I need a spokesperson. But as far as the red flag, yeah, if people are really waffly or now, I don't know, I have a client that says her husband tells her that she likes to chase the rabbit, which is like...
That's a good metaphor.
Now it's kind of becoming a red flag. She's really knows it about herself and she's super, super nice. But it's almost like an anxiety thing of having to turn over every rock.
Fear of missing out.
That's something I'm trying to vet out.
I think it's where you're trying to get to is the client who is they're bringing you in because they know they do that and they don't want this to go on forever and they want you to tailor the options. And if they're still going to go back and hunt and shop and do all of that, that's not what you want to be working with.
No, because you're not saving them money ultimately. And I don't know. I feel like, again, that's like a good designer on call.
Yeah.
And maybe a series of consultations. I've been doing that a little bit more because I'm happy to review the things that you've looked at and tell you if I think they'll work in your room in the Zoom session.
Yeah.
But I don't want to present things and then have you find something that's either price hunting or a little bit different or cheaper or whatever.
At that point, be free. Like,
Like
no love
I'm not a
lost.
questioner, but that's like a lot of questioning. That's
Well, and what
not
are you paying
excited.
me for? You're paying me to come up with ideas. You're paying me to give you my professional opinion. If you don't want to take it, that's fine. But also, like, if my attorney or my CPA gave me directive advice based on their experience and education, and I was just, nah, I'm gonna go
You're
ahead
a
and write that off
doctor.
anyway. Like, yeah, you're doctor.
Actually, I think I'm
You
gonna
have
try
a
this
faulty
medication instead.
you have a faulty heart valve and you need to be getting this done. Nah, I'm just going to meditate some more.
Okay.
Okay. Have fun with that.
I don't, yeah, it's a fine line between, I don't mind being collaborative with clients. They can give me ideas that or something that they saw or have or whatever. That's not my
That's
idea.
not in my vision. I'm leaving.
Right. But if it's everything, a single thing, then that kind of, I guess that's kind of going back to I have an eye for design.
Yeah.
But it's a little different because this person doesn't always have to have that.
Yeah, they can't make the decision. They waffle. In that vein, when clients tell me, "Oh, we've just been looking at this for 15 years and we've never done anything." I'm like, "Oh, girl, what? Why did this stop so long?" To me, that's also, were we just waiting to save the money? Okay. But were we not able to reach any agreements with each other? I'm not here to
Or
be a
are
marriage
they,
counselor. Like,
well, I kind of am, but,
that's
or
a
are
red flag
they,
for me.
it depends on the severity, but are they just really hesitant to change and make changes and it took them this much time to really get up the gumption or
Yeah. Pay
they
attention to
found,
that flag.
yeah, yeah.
Because it's so weird for me to think about it. If it wasn't budget and you could have brought in a designer at any point, what was the reason why this has taken so long is kind of the red flag. Pay attention to the
Sometimes
answer
it's
to that.
having young family. Like I think I'm arguing because I've had a few clients like that. And it's just the season of life. They
To the
got out of
question.
college, they got married, they had kids, and in the meantime, they bought a nice house, but they never upgraded the furnishings.
Right. And for you, that story adds up. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
that's true.
And
Yeah.
but we've had the money set aside and we've just never done it. And you're like, what? Tell me why we're not getting anywhere. Like, you guys don't agree.
So this is like
You don't have a
40, why have
style.
you been
Like,
a bachelor when you're 45 years old?
I
Never
mean,
been in a
yeah, you've never been
relationship?
married. Yeah, yeah. So at some point you have to think what's really going on. And to add to that is the client who tells you that they've worked with a designer before and it didn't work out. Molly, you're in danger, girl.
Well, when was this? 20 years ago?
It didn't work out because we didn't realize what we were getting into, and their first presentations came back and the budget numbers were crazy. Really ask a lot of questions, because
Yeah.
you might be coming into a situation where you're going to have to fill the shoes of something that you can never accomplish. But you need to
Yeah.
find out what went wrong. Like, maybe that designer went out of business, or maybe that designer had a big family emergency and that's why it didn't work out. You got to
Your
know
style's
more.
evolved and they haven't, or yeah.
Right. And they might have worked with a designer in the past that they didn't bring back because now they're retired. Okay. Like, get the answers to the questions. Better check those against some Google references.
Mm-hmm.
I would not, you know me, I will slide into DMs. I will call people. If that were me, I would, and it wasn't sitting right, because part of this is like, go with your gut. If it wasn't sitting right, I ask clients the name of the other designer. I've never had to call or contact the other designers, but you know that I would.
You totally would. Can I
I
have
would
designer references, please?
I would say, well, who was it? And if they don't want to tell you the name, you better run. Something's wrong, because if it really is true, there's nothing lost on them for mentioning who it was. Nothing.
Yeah.
That's like, when I worked in banking, we were taught a lot about being respectful questioners and trying to understand, because we get all sorts of scams and all sorts of weird financial scenarios that come up in banking. and when I worked in compliance and anti-money laundering and all of that, you have to ask questions, and not getting an upfront answer usually means there's more to it.
Mhm.
Doesn't mean it's bad. It just means what else is going on that they're not telling you. And that's my questioner life right there. Who was the designer? Why didn't it work out? What exactly was the problem? Like,
we have another local Facebook group just for designers, and I don't know if I don't know if I haven't said this last time, but I really am tempted to have like a red flag blacklist.
don't work with the Smiths.
Yeah. To just protect each other, vendors and clients.
And they could just search the name of a vendor or a client when they get an inquiry.
And
it's like the
and
Smiths.
It's also like, hey, dude,
the Smiths on Canyon Road in Sacramento, whatever.
Here's what they did. Here's what happened.
Yeah.
And the vendors is, hey, dude, don't fuck around. Have you heard of the designer blacklist? Get on it.
I mean, I'm not the type to put stuff out there publicly on Yelp or something, but I definitely create my list, and then I have my list of don't work with these again, and I do talk to contractors about who are you thinking of bringing in, and I'm looking for, okay, good, it's not that plumber. Okay, good, it's not that cabinet guy. Okay, good.
It's like the liquor store that has a driver's licenses or
the bad people, like, and they have to turn around and look at it. That's what you want to do. That's what we have to do to protect each other.
And I want somebody else to do it.
I mean, I think you should do it.
If it's private, yeah.
If it's a private and it's all factual. That's the other thing. It's not speaking poorly about them. It's not like slanderize. It's just, hey, I hired them to do this. And then after 4 months, it still wasn't done. They did give me the refund, but you should be aware that they never delivered. It never happened. And this made me angry. Like,
and in that case, I would then, okay, well, let me ask them some more questions. Let me reach out to that designer and tell me a little bit more.
And
has anything the other part changed?
Yeah, the other part of that is that when they know that we're all talking to each other, they do treat it differently because they want jobs. And so, I mean, there could be value in saying, I heard a bad story about this on so-and-so's job. And they're gonna be, oh fuck, you all are really fucking talking to it. Because I've noticed that
you guys have
like that's what they're afraid of, is there's no longer the ability to lie about it or say it didn't happen. And that's why it is valuable to have your concrete go-to people, because they're dependent on giving you a better experience. And that's one of the reasons clients come to us, is to get access to some of these trusted sources that they know is better than them experimenting over 3 or 4 failed jobs. Okay. I think we've got the final one.
Well, I don't know. I just need a few pieces.
Said everyone ever, but it was never true.
You need a few pieces on your end table. Like, there's no, like, you don't even.
Yeah. I mean, I have a sofa and a chair, but I need like a few things. And you're like, no. Anyone I've ever walked into who said, I think I just need a few pieces, and I go in and I'm like, your rug is covered in dog urine. That's not staying. That has to go. Oh, we were potty training the dog, and I don't know. It could be saved. No, you need a new rug. Also, the 5x7 rug has to go. It needs to be at least an 8x10. Like,
but I fill my entire SUV car up for like a little fine tuning, styling for a photo shoot.
Yeah. And you think you just need a few pieces.
Yeah. For someone who's just starting, and maybe they might have
a few nice things, but that's 2 to 3 things in a house that needs hundreds of items.
Right. And we kind of have a minimum project start. So
yeah, the few pieces thing doesn't work for me. If we're going to do it, we're going to do it.
That's why I do so many consults. Okay, you're in that territory. That's fine. Let's just
here's some advice.
Have a little advice chat. I'll give you some good things.
I'd put a console table over there, and I would get a 9x12 rug here, and you're going to go do it yourself. And there's a few pieces. That's it.
Yeah. Or
like mirror above that console. And
I just had one the other day, and she wanted to replace her an armchair in her pretty small room. Well, okay, here's some ideas. Here's what I would look for. Find something, a chair with air under it and not too tall of a back. Here's how you can kind of measure your seat preference based on items you already have if you're going to shop online.
Right.
I think you should go for a punch of color. So
give them some parameters, but then they're going to do all the work. And you're not going to make anything off selling one chair or one coffee table or one rug.
It's not worth it for them to pay me for that time anyway. So they should invest that back into their projects. So,
and that's to say too, that for us, our business model has changed to where when I hear that, I know that that's a sign that I either need to move them over to doing the whole room, or I need to move them down to consultative services or something else that does that, because we're at a point now where unless I can finish a room to photograph worthy level and be happy with it, even if I'm not going to photograph it, it needs to be a full and complete room, because someone else is going to come in and see that. And is it going to look like they worked with a designer?
And it has to be profitable.
Make it profitable to sell the stuff, and also make sure that it speaks to what you want to do, because when people do see it and they'll say, oh my God, I worked with Shaun. It was great. I want people to see that it was great.
Yeah.
Doing that. I want them to say, I want to invest a similar level to this, and then keep up leveling that with every room. When I started, I was doing the basically kind of like e-design level in my first year of business, which is a mix of like 12 pieces or so all throughout the house to kind of help everybody a little bit in every room. You never get that transformative effect. Clients go, oh, it's great, I love that in this room, but they never get the ooh-ah sensation of I worked with a designer. That to me,
and
that
for
was,
something like
I
that,
gotta
they
get
probably
paid.
spent a decent amount of money, but they didn't get a big...
Or we could have picked one room and did a whole room for that, and actually given them the motivation to do future rooms.
Which is also what I've started doing for my own personal self. Because I used to do the same thing where I would just pick up things here and there around the house, and like, this room's still bleh. So that's one room challenge style. It's really helped for me to
just do it, the whole room.
Do an actual concept, do an actual, entire wow moment, think it through to the photos. And that's when my house really started coming together. So it's the same thing.
Yeah. So basically, listen to your gut. Don't let people push your boundaries on stuff, and don't get too excited by the project that you're missing some of these more obvious red flags, and create your own list. Keep it running.
And I think this is the hardest part for me, is just because the person is nice and you like, they can still be a red flag.
100%.
Most of the time. So red flag isn't just some shitty person that is going to screw you over. They could be super nice and really lovely, but still
project from hell.
Project. Yeah.
Yeah. Could be the totally wrong project or totally wrong budget, or just the style is not what you want to do any more of. And you're not going to be motivated to pick up that project from your desk when you look at your tasks. You guys got this. All of our hotties, you know what to do. Until next time.
Stay hot, designers. Thanks for joining this meeting of the Hot Young Designers Club podcast.
If you liked what you heard, please subscribe and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Check out the show notes there for links to things we talked about today.
We are keeping the conversation going on Instagram, so don't forget to like, comment, and follow at Hot Young Designers Club.
You can find Rebecca on Instagram at Studio Plum.
And you can find Shaun at Renstead Interiors. That's WRENSTED.
You don't have to redesign them. Come with my clipboard. What's happening over there? What about that? Is that next week? The light fixtures in the garage. And then you're just like, pew, 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 pew. And